Alright, what is up guys? Welcome back to another Zoids review. I am delighted to finally be giving you guys the review of the HMM Konig Wolf. So this is a kit that I have wanted literally as long as HMMs have existed. The Konig Wolf is one of my all-time favorite Zoids, and when this was announced, I just went crazy. This is the most, or one of the most recent new molds that the HMM line has come up with in quite a few years. Aside from the Zoids Wild molds, like the Wild Liger and the Fang Tiger, we also got the HMM Redler that was recently released along the same time as the Konig Wolf, but I haven't picked that one up. I don't know if I will. I don't know if I necessarily have enough room for it in the collection. But this guy had a very special place reserved for him because I was very, very excited about it. So this is actually two model kits you're seeing right here. This is the HMM Konig Wolf, and it is the double sniper rifle customized parts kit, which are sold separately, but there was a variant of this HMM released, which is the Heavy Arms Konig Wolf, which is the blue colored version that has the missile pods and the double sniper rifle from that customized parts kit already included with it. So you could go either way. You could get the cheaper version that is just the bog standard white Konig Wolf, or you could get the Heavy Arms version, or you could buy this one and that separately, which is what I did. I pre-ordered them both together because I never got the double sniper rifle for the motorized Konig Wolf, and I really wanted it because it really kind of completes this Zoid. It doesn't feel complete without it. It really brings the character together. And from not only a lore standpoint, but also like a gameplay standpoint with the Zoids versus games, the double sniper rifle is really the most signature part of this Zoid and the thing that really makes it so darn cool. So a little bit of lore about this guy, a little bit of lore about the Konig Wolf itself in the battle story. So this was developed by the Helix Republic in the early 2100s, right around the Dark Continent of Nyx campaign. And apparently the main function of it was to be a cheaper alternative to the Liger Zero. So evidently the Liger Zero was very expensive to manufacture because of the cast armor system. And so they decided that, and apparently also, I did not know this until looking it up, that apparently they had to manufacture them from wild lion type Zoid cores that, you know, they could find or purchase, whatever. And so in terms of like resources, the wild wolf Zoid cores that would be needed to manufacture the Konig Wolf, they could basically get from the same suppliers that would supply them with the ones for the Command Wolf. And so it was basically just a natural evolution. Like from a military supply chain and logistics standpoint, it makes total sense why they went that route. But in actual performance, even though this thing does not have the cast system, the CAS changing armor system that the Liger Zero does, it more than makes up for it. It is a very high performing Zoid. And again, this is late in the lore we're talking about, so this is, you know, both factions are really throwing out the big guns here. Like this thing was designed to go up against the Liger Zero X and the Dark Spiner, and it was actually pretty efficient at doing that, even though a lot of Konig Wolves were destroyed during the invasion of the Gylos capital. But apparently the main function of this Zoid on the Dark Continent of Nyx was to escort the Mad Thunder through the Imperial terrain, and apparently did a very good job of that because its wolf body and its general speed and agility and its ability to maneuver through the terrain made it very efficient at the heavily rocky and mountainous hilly terrain of the Dark Continent, which a lot of other more primitive Helix Zoids struggled with greatly. So it performed extremely well. And apparently Rob Herman also piloted one briefly at one point, which I did not realize that he was actually not only a character from the anime, but also the battle story simultaneously, which is actually pretty cool. But other than the battle story, the Konig Wolf only ever appears in the anime in fusers. And it is I mentioned the two other variants of the Konig Wolf, this version, the standard white version, and the blue Heavy Arms version. But there is an orange version that appears in fusers, which is otherwise identical. I believe it still has the same weapon system, the missile pods and the double sniper rifle. And that one appears in the fusers anime. Apparently, also the Konig Wolf makes a minor appearance in the Genesis manga, which is something I'm entirely unfamiliar with. Don't really know anything about the manga for Genesis at all. Onto the model kits. So we have, of course, the original 1999 Takara Tomy motorized version in white, and they also made the heavy arms version back then as well, and of course the Fusers version. And I will do a little comparison between the two. Those are the three main versions, but apparently there are some super obscure alternate versions, some which never made it to production. Like apparently at Wonderfest in 2004, there was a prototype shown for a cast armor system Konig Wolf with the unpainted, freshly molded prototype armor pieces attached to its limbs. But that never went into production. And then apparently there was a promo for one of the video games where it was a chrome Konig Wolf, and very few samples of that exist in the world, and so it's vanishingly rare. But apparently it does exist. There is photographic proof of it existing. But that's basically it. The white Konig Wolf did get adapted into the Hasbro line in 2002, so we do have the motorized Konig Wolf here. Whoops. And if you guys recall with this guy, I actually purchased this one. This was not one of my childhood Zoids. This is one I purchased in 2016. And I think the video review for it is on this channel, where I purchased this thing unbuilt in 2016 and built it out of the box, 14 years after the original model kit was released. And so even though he's new in the sense that he's newly unboxed, he still is the 20-year-old plastic at this point. So he is showing his age a little bit, although thankfully there's not really much or any yellowing of the plastic to be seen here, which is quite nice. He does look pretty cool. And you can kind of see with this side-by-side comparison here, a lot of the details and features of the Konig Wolf have been wonderfully remastered, updated, and reimagined with the HMM version. The HMM version obviously has a lot more detail, and they took advantage of a lot of areas of the molding, like with the ears right here. They now have a gray plastic as contrast right there. Same thing with the little vents right here. Those vents are molded in on the motorized version, but they have no color or anything like that. And then, in here, there's some more gray coloration. Yeah, it's all over this guy. They really did modernize his look quite a bit. Of course, you get the signature HMM metallic piston pieces right here. On the tail is significantly thinner, has a better profile on the HMM version, and does have the color breakup in there as well. There's some nice orange translucent plastic on the HMM version, which the motorized version really only has for the eyes and for the bubbles for the sniper visor optics there. Other than that, it's just the black, gray, white, and the green caps. And the green caps do look pretty nice. It's not an offensive color combination at all, but I kind of low-key wish he had a different translucent eye color than orange. But I get that, he does look pretty sick on the box art there, we gotta admit. But I get that the orange is kind of a Helix Republic thing if you look at the Command Wolf, and then if there was like a Gylos Empire version, it would have green translucent eyes, because that's kind of their signature thing almost. But yeah, I never got the double sniper rifle unit for the motorized version, but I still really love this guy because he is one of my favorite Zoids. One thing I had forgotten about the Konig Wolf is these rubber belts that run through here. I don't know if these are meant to be ammo belts or what they're meant to be, but there's some that run through the torso here, and some one that runs around the neck. And I believe that this one, the reason why it sits where it is right here is because it has been broken, which is unfortunate. Wherever it connects to down in here is severed. And that is a problem with any kind of toys or model kits that have rubber pieces, is, rubber does degrade and eventually will snap and deteriorate. And I've got that as a comment with the energy liger that I have, as people were really surprised that the hoses on the energy liger's weapons had not deteriorated yet. And like I said, even though I opened this guy out of the box brand new in 2016, he was still sitting in the box for 14 years at that point. So, needless to say, sure there was some degrade there, but they still included the rubber hoses on the HMM version. and they do look a little bit nicer. And like I said, they do run through the torso and then behind his head. And I actually have assembled this incorrectly here, because this section right here where my thumbs are, before you attach that, you're supposed to sort of fold the belt, the rubber belt, down behind that and then pin it down. But I opted not to do that because I didn't want it to interfere with his head articulation, and I don't know for a fact that it would do that, but I just wanted to play it safe because I was already running into issues with the sort of Zoid core assembly right here not really sitting in place very well inside of his chest. Like, this is where it's supposed to go, and I made sure it's flipped the right way around, because you can easily put it upside down if you're not paying attention. But yeah, his neck just does not want to go down very much at all. Like, he's kind of stuck where his neck is, unfortunately, and can't lower anymore, whereas the motorized version has the exact same gimmick that the Command Wolf does, where you can lower the neck and it will open the mouth and do that kind of thing. Whereas this one, you know, of course the mouth opens on its own, the cockpit opens on its own, and the cockpit is very subtle and discreet on top of his head, which I really do appreciate. And of course we have the pilot in there. The overall build complexity of the HMM version, I feel like, is really quite good. It's actually a lot more simple than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be another like 12, 14 hour build kind of thing, and maybe that's an exaggeration in terms of time, but it's like time you start versus time you end, including like breaks for eating and using the bathroom and that kind of thing. But this was probably closer to, like, I would say, if you are building this like tentatively, like paying attention and like really trying to go at this at a decent pace, this is probably like a 6-ish hour build. It's really not that bad for a Zoid of this size. And I feel like a lot of that is that the torso is pretty simple to assemble, and the legs mercifully were easy to assemble. So in terms of build complexity and engineering of this guy, very, very, very well done. I think they'd made a conscious effort to make it not overly complex. It's not nearly as bad as the Blade Liger was, or the Great Saber, or the Genosaur. It's closer, you know, it's just barely a few steps removed from, I would say, like the Lightning Sykes or the Shadow Fox in terms of complexity, although it is a lot bigger. And I built this guy in one day, didn't push it super late like I've been known to do in the past, and I still had time to assemble the weapons customized parts kit as well. So I guess we'll go ahead and talk about that. One thing I wanted to mention, I'll show the picture here, but like most of these HMMs, of course, you have to have the like soft plastic or rubber sockets for the joints to keep the joints tight. And the area where that socket goes on the hind legs, luckily there's just two pieces that connect to each other to close off that gap to keep that socket piece in there. And I accidentally messed up and did not attach the socket in this leg. So when I tried to attach the leg, I was like, oh no, it's just empty space in there. And thankfully I could just pry off the silver piece and put the socket in there and fix my mistake. And I didn't have to completely disassemble his hind area. So that's a huge relief. Holy crap. His tail has really nice articulation. It has articulation at multiple points, and then the big piece back here has a point of articulation. His boosters, which I guess can be weapons, they flip forward on all versions of it, although they never flip forward in the video games or anything. They're just boosters in the Versus games. But they did add some gold metallic ends to them to give them some more detail and look a little bit nicer. And then he does have, of course, he has articulated ears. How cute is that? My wife was watching me build this guy, and she was just enamored by how cute he is. And both her and some of my closest friends that are not Zoids fans saw what this guy looks like, saw after I built him. And I mentioned that he had articulated ears, and they just absolutely loved that, thought it was the most adorable thing ever. So I guess if he doesn't have the sniper visor up, you can have his ears pointing a little bit more forward like that. And I really like the way that looks. I think that looks a lot nicer. But in order to actually get the sniper optic to flip over his face, you have to fold the ears back like that. And you still kind of have to like wiggle them past the visor as it comes down. So I'm not actually crazy about the way the sniper visor is designed. The joint on it is very tight, whereas on the motorized version, it flips up no problem. It does look super badass once you have everything flipped forward. And then the way they've done the engineering on the double sniper rifle, I absolutely love, because it has a, right where my thumbs are, it has a point of articulation there, a hinge, and then it rotates left and right, and then it has another hinge up under it, up here. Notice where I have my thumbs there, I didn't put the caps on there, because again, I didn't want that to get in the way of articulation, but you could always put caps there as well. It's the only place on this where I didn't put on the caps. But one thing I think is really cool is you can kind of angle this thing up a little bit higher to kind of increase its trajectory over the Konig Wolf's head. So you can raise it up a little bit, and of course you can rotate it. And the barrels for where the projectiles are supposed to fire, this would be the barrel starting here, and then it, whoops, my hand is in the way, starting here, and then it breaks in the center where the sniper rifle flips up over itself. This was not a detail that was present in the original version. So again, this sort of reimagining of the Zoids details with the HMM version is really, really cool. And then it flips over, and those 4 holes, all connect with each other. So you have the sniper rifle barrels lined up properly for action. And this is just one of my absolute favorite weapons in all of Zoids. From those of you who know my Zoids Battle Legends and Zoids Versus 3 videos, know that this is also one of the most powerful weapons in those games. And so any Zoid that can equip this by default has the capacity to be pretty broken. And it is technically the signature weapon of the Konig Wolf. But like the Command Wolf can equip it, the Liger Zero can equip it, lots of different Zoids can equip it. And one thing that's really, really cool about the HMM version here is similar to that artillery unit on the Cannonry Mulga that I talked about a few years ago or whatever. The barrels reciprocate. So if you wanted to display it with the barrels like this, they can push back to simulate recoil, which is super cool. And then also the back of the unit here as well also cycles and reciprocates. So you can kind of simulate a cartridge being ejected or recoil. And so for those of you out there that are interested in making like Zoids, HMM, like stop motion animations, holy crap, is that not a cool feature? Oh, I love that so much. Just the fact that you could, I may even attempt it myself just to see what it would look like in stop motion, to see those barrels reciprocating in the rear action of the weapon moving. I just think is, oh, it's so cool. A feature they did not have to include, but they did anyway, and I love it. It's so cool. The little ammo belt is pretty cool here. There's some inconsistencies on what this weapon is supposed to be, because it's obviously known as the double sniper rifle, and in the gameplay of the Versus games, it has these twin, very long, powerful beam projectiles that fire at a slow rate of fire. But the way that these belt-fed cartridges go up here, it kind of reminds me of something that would need to be like rapid fire because of the belt feeding mechanism there. And then in the intro cutscene of the original Zoids Versus game, we get to see the Konig Wolf and the Liger Zero X fighting each other just like they do in the battle story. And in that animation, they have this be like a rapid fire machine gun, which is very silly, and they probably just were trying to animate a cool battle and didn't think about the lore or anything. But yeah, absolutely love what they've done with the double sniper rifle and its adaptation on this model kit. And then, of course, we also have the missile pods, which, as I've expressed before, if you're playing Battle Legends, Zoids Versus 2, missile weapons are not that good, but missile weapons are quite good in Zoids Versus 3 because auto-aiming, homing projectiles are broken in that game. And there is a mission in the campaign of Battle Legends Versus 2 where you are fighting against some Konig Wolves, and they are coming at you headstrong with those missile pods deployed. So this is a pretty cool look right here. And I'm going to show some pictures, of course, some photography that I took of these guys. Took with this guy plus the other wolf Zoids, kind of give a picture similar to the background of the box art there with some command wolves and the motorized Konig wolf. But yeah, other than that, not too much else to say about it. I absolutely love it. I couldn't be happier with it. I'm very excited to get it on display. And I know I jumped ahead in my backlog to get this guy done because I was just so excited about him. And there are lots of other HMM Zoids that I have not yet built. I'm still sitting on the Wild Liger and the Fang Tiger, the generic Genosaur reprint, the Geno Breaker reprint, and the Iron Kong Yeti. So I think the next one, and also the Liger Zero X. So the next one is probably going to either be the Liger Zero X or the Wild Liger to go ahead and get that out of the way. And then one day I just need to bite that bullet and build the Iron Kong Yeti. That massive box taunts me whenever I go around the corner of my staircase and see my stack, the stack of the backlog. That thing is a monster, and I do not know when I will be ready for it, but hopefully soon. So, appreciate your patience with me this year, guys. I haven't had the time or the enthusiasm to do a lot of content on this channel. It's a lot to explain right now, but there is still a lot of other Zoids videos I want to do, so the content will come eventually. I appreciate you guys very much. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time.